Hey everyone, what is tempo? Tempo was first coined as a word to describe the relative speed of music. It comes from the Latin word tempus, which means time. Later the word gained popularity in chess. There it refers to a single turn. If someone achieves a certain board position in fewer moves than expected, they gain a tempo. They can also lose a tempo if they take more moves to do something that could be accomplished in fewer. This is opposed to piece advantage, which is when someone captures a piece without the other player doing the same. Sometimes in chess, players will sacrifice piece advantage to gain tempo advantage, which can possibly lead to an early checkmate. Now we use the term tempo in Hearthstone, but our turns are a bit different than in chess since we can make more than one move per turn. Because of this, we can't quantify tempo. Instead, we use the term more loosely. Tempo in Hearthstone refers to a time advantage on the board, like if we can get a Yeti out on turn 2 thanks to Innovate, we gain a tempo advantage. While that example would give a tempo advantage, it would also sacrifice card advantage, since we use 2 cards to produce a single minion. Tempo can be gained or lost several different ways. The first way is by sacrificing card advantage, like in the example with Innovate. Other cards that give tempo advantage in a similar way would be Backstab. It's a bad card when it comes to value since it only does 2 damage, but because it is free to cast, it will give you a tempo advantage. Backstab is also good because sometimes it doesn't even have to sacrifice card advantage when you manage to kill a minion with it outright. Another way to gain tempo is by sacrificing life. Examples of that are Flame Imp and Pit Lord. Their stats are over budget, but they deal damage to the player as a drawback. Other than that, weapon cards do much the same thing. 5e War Axe deals 2 times 3 damage for only 2 mana, but then the warrior has to take damage, just as when the warlock plays his over-budgeted minions. A third way to gain tempo is when a player overcommits on the board and you clear it with AoE. Now, this is more of a catch-up in tempo rather than pushing it. However, at the same time, AoE is usually a very high value play. The downside to AoE is in order for it to be useful, you need to let the other player gain tempo first. The fourth way to gain tempo is by using the 2-for-1 cards like SI7 Agent, Fire Elemental, and the Mad Scientist. The first 2 cards can kill a minion while still being acceptable minions for their cost, whereas the latter puts a second card in play when it dies for no extra cost. This is usually the most effective way to gain tempo advantage since there isn't any major drawback. The only limit here is that there are not that many cards that can do this. Usually they are limited to specific classes. Many people have asked me what a tempo deck is. A tempo deck is one that focuses on tempo more than other resources like cards and life. Usually it involves several of the kind of cards mentioned here, as well as having a mana curve that lets them play something every turn. Rogue was the first class to make this playstyle popular thanks to the many class cards that can be used for tempo, as well as them having the best hero power tempo-wise. When other classes started using the same style for their decks, they would often be described as similar to Tempo Rogue. Nowadays, tempo decks have become very popular, even though it is rarely mentioned as such. The popular Mech Mage deck that roams the ladder is a tempo deck. It has the Mad Scientist, the Mech Warper, and the Blast Mage, all excellent at giving tempo. The deck also has a mana curve that more often than not lets them use all their mana every turn. Thanks for listening, everyone. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.